All right, right on time.
Hey, hey, hey. And the surprise is we could be live today.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But if something happens to the stream, we'll have it recorded anyway, so.
Oh, good.
Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
This is the Jimmy Doan Show.
Yeah, today's Sunday, what, the 18th? No, today's the 20th.
Yeah.
Sunday. Yesterday was the big wedding.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yep. I'm here as well. This is Counselor Curtis.
And Jimmy Doan.
Yep. And brought to you by sponsor.
Yeah, sponsor, right. Not quite yet.
You never know. You never know.
Well, it's been kind of a busy week.
Well, what the big news is the Trump situation.
How is that the big news?
I mean, from my perspective.
Okay, well, I do know that I was listening to the McLaughlin report.
They still have that?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
John's gone.
No, I know, but they got a new guy in there.
Really?
And yeah, and Eleanor's there, and
really,
and what's his name? You know, Mr. Hands guy, whatever he is.
The super rich guy?
No, the guy who ran for president one time. What's his name?
Oh, Pat Robertson.
Pat. No, not Pat Robertson. It's
Pat. B starts with a B.
Yeah, something. Anyway, Pat. Yeah, that's the guy.
Okay.
And then of course Eleanor's there, and then they have with her they have a guest that's a liberal, and they have a guest that's conservative.
Okay.
So there are four of them, and they battle it out, and of course it's the same old. So they were talking about now, you know, the Mueller investigation is now past the 1 year. You know.
Right. Well, we talked about that.
Well, the thing is that it's interesting to hear, you know, the liberal people are saying, well, you know, what's his name on Nixon took 6 years, or no, on Bill Clinton took 6 years before they finally got him.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Well, I'm not saying that they won't drag it out.
Yeah.
You know what we were saying.
20 million so far. 20 million is the amount of money, which of course is like 10 minutes worth of spending for the government or something. But anyway, no, it's just interesting to see how the sides are polarized on this, and they're coming back up to you know, the meeting, the Trump, what's his name, Trump Jr. meeting in the you know, the top thing, and the phone call that was blocked.
I haven't heard about the phone call blocking situation.
Well, what happened was when he was up there after they met with this lawyer from the Kremlin,
right,
and realized that there was nothing there, and they just said, "Screw it, we're out of here." You know, this is ridiculous, because you know she'd called her, or somebody had put him on to the fact that she had some dirt, you know, opposition research as they call it.
Okay,
and she didn't. You know, they found in 5 minutes they realized she didn't have the work. Well, apparently, and Banyan walked out almost immediately. He said, "This is ridiculous," and this was all, you know, 6 months before, 4 or 5 months before the election.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, now then of course what they're all hanging their hat on now is that apparently sometime Trump Jr. Picked up and made a phone call to a blocked number, talked for 12 minutes to a blocked number. This is it. This is the you know, this is the match. This is the fire. Whatever it is. Now we got to find out who that was. And of course, I'm sure that anybody in the world could find out who it was. I mean, NSA or whoever it is, you know, records everything supposedly.
Yeah, they've got that metadata. Yeah, I didn't even see that one this week. The latest I saw in the investigation was they uncovered the person who was allegedly the FBI's source.
Really?
For a couple of things. Yeah, this academic guy, Haley is his name. Is it Haley?
Could be.
And anyway,
he was the plant. He was the the guy that Trump said I had a mole in my.
Yeah, he was one of them.
He was one of the moles. Okay, well, because of course the other people, the liberals, are saying, well, look, they interviewed everybody. The FBI, they always ask everybody, so that's not collusion or anything like that. And that's not like you have a plant if you're going to just call these people up all the time and ask them questions.
Yeah, a bunch of people have come out and sort of identified the types of things that this guy was involved with and said, well, why would you have interest in all these different areas unless you were setting somebody up, basically?
Right.
And it's just another straw, I guess, on the side of, on Trump's side.
Well, it's interesting because talk about setting up. I was listening to Stefan Molyneux, or I think, and they were talking about Papadopoulos or whatever. What's his name? Papadopoulos, yeah. That he was totally set up. They basically flew him over to London, and said, do this, do that, and the other thing. And then they fed him some erroneous data, and then he got drunk in a bar and was bragging to somebody, giving this guy, another operative type guy, back the information that they just told him. Hush, hush, don't. When they told this guy Papadopoulos, keep this on the low down or whatever it is. Well, anyway, he blabbed and everything. So now, of course, they got him on. They basically, he had been set up according to Molyneux. You look at this thing and they just railroaded him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, with that information, it could have easily just been browbeat into the plea by them threatening him with some huge number of years behind in prison. Take this deal now or else, kind of a thing. I don't know. To me, again, as I've said for a while now, the whole thing looks like a big fishing net.
Yeah.
A big tar baby.
Yeah. They're
trying to get him to bite. They're trying to get Trump to jump.
Racist.
Tar baby. So yeah, they're trying to get him to do something or say something or take a deposition under.
Well, that was the other thing that Trump Jr. Of course, they asked him about the phone call and he said, "I don't remember." And of course, that's not lying.
Right.
So that's okay. It's
Yeah. Well, you will recall. The testimony of Oliver North in front of the Congress. I'm sure. Didn't you watch any of that?
I watched a bit. It's so long ago. What was that?
Right. Well, it was of the day. It was the big interview. The congressional hearings and Congress interviewed Oliver North under oath for like weeks.
Oh yeah.
And he had his attorney sitting right there next to him. And every time they would ask him a big old question. He would turn to his attorney, he would talk for a second, he would turn back, and then he would say, "I do not recall."
Well, Hillary did the same thing. Remember that was a big thing. She also, when they interviewed her, she had a whole Rush would play this montage of her saying, "I don't recall, I don't know."
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good lawyerly answer, I guess. But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So, anything else about Trump?
Not about that. I mean, to me, the big news. When I said the Trump big news, I was talking about Israel and Jerusalem.
Oh, yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
Well, of course apparently the people are saying that Hamas is putting the women and children out in front there. So you
just push them out there.
Yeah, and but the Israelis went through and just according to one source, they identified 50 out of the 62 people that were actual Hamas.
Right.
Operatives or whatever it is that were dead.
Right.
And
Israel's taking the opportunity to snipe a few of them, apparently.
Yeah, right. Well, what they did say was that they were, which is kind of interesting, they're aiming for their legs. There was a lot of them injured.
Really?
Yeah, lots of injuries. I don't know, hundreds that were injured.
Oh, okay.
And
that was, I think, the people crossing over.
Right.
There was a bunch of people. Yeah.
Right. That was the whole deal, and they shot them in the legs so they couldn't,
Well, what are you going to do?
That's right. Well, it's always interesting because here, whenever the police are involved in a police shooting, people are always saying, "Why don't you shoot him in the legs?" And they said, "Well, good luck on that if somebody's running."
Well, yeah. I mean, this is. I wouldn't compare the two in any huge way because I mean, in every type of police encounter, there's always the "I was in fear for my life"
Right.
situation, and the cop is right there. This is snipers firing from far away.
Yeah.
This is people up on the hilltops or in the bunkers,
Yeah.
picking them off as they're coming through the fences and
Yeah.
such. But what the interesting part about all this is brought up the age-old discussion about who owns property.
Yeah.
When do you own property? When does a nation own property? You know, the Israelis are like, well, this is our ancient homeland, and of course, part of it is, maybe part of it's not, who knows? But then the Palestinians have some area as well. And
Well, it's interesting because that whole area has been fought over the last 3,000 years.
oh yeah, it's a ridiculous.
I mean, it has gone back and forth and forth and back, and I mean, not only the Sumerians and
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I've got a nice slideshow actually, which I have now just put up for everybody, and this shows you a little bit about the history of it. And of course, you can stop it on anyone and check it out a little bit more. But oops, and now it's like super. The slides are like super magnified. Well, that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, I did show. You know, I did see a slideshow that brought the Israeli ownership from 1947 to today, and it's expanded rather dramatically.
Well, there were a couple of wars they defended themselves in.
Yeah. Well, of course, then they gave back a bunch of it to Egypt.
Well, right. They gave back to Sinai, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Too much trouble for them to keep it up.
Well, that's too bad. My slideshow, it worked perfectly before. I don't understand. But they were all, I'm sure, copyright images anyway. So
Yeah, like somebody's. Yeah, they're gonna come crashing through here.
at least, yeah, the distribution of this show is incredible.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true too. So anyway, well, that's ongoing, of course, and they are. You know, we talked about this previously, and that is now the Palestinians are all pissed off. Well, they were already pissed off. So,
yeah, well, that's what this whole thing is about. Is can they ever agree on anything about Jerusalem?
Yeah.
Even during the 1940s resolutions, Jerusalem was made out to be an international city.
Well, it's supposed to be split down the middle, isn't it?
Right. But that always works super well.
Yeah. Oh, again, you just have to look at the shifting of the map stuff all
Right.
over the place. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, this particular, you couldn't pay me to live in Israel, I tell you.
really.
Yeah, I mean, who would want to live, from my perspective, that seems to me like the most cursed piece of earth that there is out there. I mean, what's the lifespan has, if I can imagine a sort of vector map of the lifespan of people and a cone of negativity around that area as it depreciates. Wouldn't you think people die there relatively soon in terms of people's lifespan? Because some people get shot.
Well, I know that's true, and of course, then they have the rockets that they fire in there from time to time.
Mhm.
Apparently, they've got their iron shield or whatever that brings down most of the rockets. And I don't know, but yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, you gotta love it. I don't know.
Yeah, you would have to love it. It would have to be. I mean, I suppose if I were Jewish,
Yeah.
then
Well, people, talk about it. Okay, let's move along.
okay.
Let's see. That was the Trump. Then we can talk a little bit about Venezuela.
Oh yeah, what's
Today's
going
the election,
on? Okay.
and it's expected that Maduro's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Probably get 80% of the vote or something or more. The two people that are running against him, I don't know if they're in jail or not, but they're not supposed to not be consequential. But what is fascinating about this, of course, is the fact that the country literally is on its last legs. I mean, and it's all because of Maduro. Although he's getting away with blaming it on everybody
What
else.
imperialist America?
Well, not only, of course, but right. But I mean, when you have 1 million of your people fleeing over the border into the neighboring country, and setting up camp, they'd rather be in camp in Brazil or in Colombia than in their own country. I mean, it seems to me that that would be reason enough why you would still have to look in the mirror and say, well, I wonder if I'm doing anything wrong.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
Well, they had another meltdown. I think, let's see, what happened was they decided to nationalize the Kellogg's plant. So now they're going to be in the cereal manufacturing business. And then they also, apparently their oil has dropped even further. And of course, the inflation is running literally at 15,000% per year. I mean, we talked about this last week a little bit, but I mean,
no problem.
No problem. I mean, how can you live in a country like that? I just don't get it. It's just you'd think that what does it take for the peasants to rise up, and do the Bastille Day thing, where they go and.
Well, this is straight out of the Declaration of Independence, which is it takes a lot.
Yeah.
They have to be.
That's pretty much though.
Well, they're getting there.
Yeah.
They're getting there, but
I mean, Zimbabwe style inflation, for God's sakes. That's
right. Well, it has to get to the point. Unfortunately, what sucks is it has to get to the point of where it sucks so bad for everybody that.
Well, you've got nothing left to lose.
Exactly.
That's what it is. So you get to the point where I don't care anymore.
That's right.
That's right. So shoot me.
That's right. Family members are starting to die from lack of medicine.
Right.
And, everybody's starving to death, whatever it is, and no jobs, no work. Everybody's scrounging around in the trash. Things like that, and then you get people like organize into mobs and stuff, and then.
Well, they have the protesting. I've seen pictures of thousands of people in the streets protesting.
Well, that's sort of the precursor to the mob. You protest together to figure out who's willing to really do some.
Be on point.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And then those people get together.
Yeah.
And they do the little. It's like the chants out in front of the Occupy Wall Street thing.
Yeah.
And so.
That came to naught.
What?
Yeah, but I mean, what gets me, of course, is that people are actually going to vote. I mean, like it's going to make a difference. To me, I'm just stunned to think that they're all so happy and thinking that they're actually going to make a difference. If my vote will count, and they already have the polling data indicates that, and of course they're saying it's not rigged. Or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference between regular people and. I mean, Venezuela has enjoyed a nice high lifestyle for a while, and so the peasants, as they were, the people, the populace, are not used to the concept of a takeover. They weren't prepared for this kind of a thing, so they're just getting lulled right into it, and you have to. They're not. It's not like they're a super tough. It's not like they've been beaten up for decades. All this has come about in the last 15 years.
Right.
So I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people who are like, "What happened? What the hell happened?"
Yeah.
And they're just. It takes a lot to do a military coup. I mean, you have to really.
Right.
Somebody's got to risk their butt.
That's right.
And a lot of people. And so it's going to get ugly.
Well, as I say, that's when you get to the point where you have nothing left to lose. Then you're willing to take on the ultimate gamble.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it happens. Okay, well, so much for that. Now, the other thing, speaking of military, what about the Texas shooting?
Yes!
I mean, what's interesting?
Uh-huh.
It was a sawed-off shotgun
and
a revolver.
Right.
So
no assault weapon.
No assault weapon.
No.
And the media have been just amazingly silent about this.
Yeah. What could you do? I mean, you had Joe Biden himself come out and said, "Go get a shotgun."
Right.
And handguns. I mean, you can print a handgun these days.
Yeah.
So, and they weren't his. They were acquired illegally, even from his dad, but still not legally in his possession. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to say?
That's what I'm saying. Is that this was, and of course, now that stuff is coming out. Apparently, there was a little bit of bullying going on. Some of his classmates had trashed him or something, or he couldn't get no respect or whatever it was.
Right.
So they they were talking a little bit about that. Apparently, there might have been some signs, and of course, he walks in there with if he wore a trench coat every day, even though it was 90 degrees. This is San Antonio, for God's sakes, where it's, where it's hot,
right?
And wears a trench coat every day. So I guess the last day he went in.
Homage to westerns or something.
Yeah, right, exactly. So anyway, they caught him, right? He's in jail. Yeah, and I think he's on. It's interesting. I saw where there was somebody that was caught for rape or something. It was on $1 million bond, and I think this guy's 50 or 100,000 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think it would be.
I think it'd be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
no
none.
Bond. Yeah. You got to be on the no bond list at that point.
I would guess. At any rate, there's obviously going to get that. He ain't going to last long. Texas has a death penalty, of course.
Yeah, but he's kind of a kid.
Yeah, he's 17, right?
So
well, they said, of course, they're going to know. There's no. I mean, they have tried.
Not kid enough.
Yeah, well, I've seen where they tried 14-year-olds as adults.
Yeah, exactly.
So 17, he's this close.
He's not kid enough. Unfortunately, the whole juvenile thing goes out the window if the crime gets real serious.
Right.
So
that's the way it'll be. I guess everybody's going to be hunkering around for that one. Be interesting to see what he gets for an attorney.
Well, he'll get some good attorney.
Some pro bono guy.
Sure, why not? Do it for the fame and fortune.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, now the other piece of big news.
Well, there was something about that. So the one thing that nobody has brought up. I mean, of course, the one thing that could affect these types of shootings is let the teachers arm up.
Boy, there's really a backlash on that, though, babe.
Well, I think there's a backlash on arm the teachers up.
Yeah.
Versus let the teachers arm up, which to me there's a big difference.
Okay.
To me, on the one hand, there's a movement that says, as part of your teacher training, you're now going to be, SWAT member as well. Stop, drop, and roll.
Well, the thing about
here's your gun. Here's your chalkboard. Here's your gun.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
Yeah. Here's your chalk and here's your gun.
That's right.
So
don't get them confused.
And the chalk is for putting the outline on the floor.
That's right. Here's your other chalk.
Here's your other piece of chalk. So anyway, the problem I see though is, where do you keep the gun? I mean, do you keep it in your desk, or there's. I mean, you should be able to get to it fairly quickly, and of course you wouldn't want the students getting to it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you have a little safe there,
I would think either a safe, and I mean that could be one of the requirements. No, we're talking requirements, or a locked desk. But yeah, I would think you wouldn't want the students getting it, but. The concept that a student is going to go and get a gun implies that you have a student ready, willing, and able to commit a serious crime and a firearms violation. I mean, we're talking about it's not like I mean, I guess the kids might get it to play with,
right?
Just sort of, hey, boys get the teacher's gun. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's see if this thing actually fires.
That's right. Nothing in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
and I can tell you right now, if out of the millions of schools in this country,
right,
if you had a fair number of them where they had a gun on it at a teacher's desk or something, you don't need one.
Right. Well, it would happen.
Yeah, it would. That's what I'm saying. It would happen.
Right.
And then what?
Right.
I told you so. People would be shit and would be.
Well, yeah, but I think you, and it would be impossible from a PR standpoint to deal with. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think that the numbers, if we're talking about kids getting blasted here every day or every few days in big school massacres, and a few of those could get shut down in exchange for a few accidents where maybe one kid gets a toe blown off or something or something else. Well, okay, then it's worth it. The trade is worth it.
Yes, except for the fact that
The seen and the unseen.
Yeah, well, that's not all.
You can't see the ones that you prevented.
You're right. That's number one.
Right.
But also, the simple fact is that the media people would be would go ballistic. You know, see what happens. You know, I mean,
and you put guns in school.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is
guns and kids together don't mix.
Yeah. Well, as anybody will tell you, this my age. When we were going to school, especially in rural places, you had a gun in the car. I mean, you know, especially if you drove a truck.
Right.
You had your rifle, you know, in the back window.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So, not anymore.
Well.
So the last thing that I've got is the wedding.
Okay.
That's been the news. I mean, nonstop news. So that happened yesterday, and lots of talk about that. And I didn't realize that she was, you know, partially black.
Okay.
Number one, and that she'd been married before.
Okay. Yeah.
And of course, at least two of the guys, what's his name's former girlfriends showed up at the wedding.
Okay.
And so, and they were foxes. I mean, you know.
He's a prince.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Literally.
Well, apparently he dated one of them for a number of years.
Okay.
So, at least one. I don't know. But anyway, they were all there, all buddies. You know, now they could have a foursome, I guess. But I'm sitting there, and of course, Megan's mother showed up, and apparently she was kind of the belle of the ball or something like that.
Right.
But and Oprah showed up.
Yes.
So apparently they did have out of the 600 guests, they had some, you know, some luminaries from Hollywood, I guess.
Right.
But of course the big thing was you look at some of the pictures and the hats they were wearing. I'm going, holy smoke! You know, the hat people must have been going nuts.
Yeah, they had a whole expose on the hats and their pins.
Is that right?
Sure.
Oh my God! Well, I just happened to
great hats. It's a parade. It's a fantastic parade of hats.
Yeah, I guess so. They always have that. So anyway, but they had the you know, the various royalty people were floating around there, and let's see, what is he, third in line or something like that?
Yeah, I guess so.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, or
yeah,
they are now.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have a problem apparently with the IRS.
Why so?
Well, because first of all, you know, the United States IRS, the only one of two countries on the planet that require you to declare and pay taxes on income earned outside the United States.
Okay.
So if she earns more than a certain amount, first of all, she has to file some Form 8890 or something, which lists all of her assets and stuff.
And she's going to have staff for that.
Well, no, but I mean, it's going to expose the royals to what they've got.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're going to have to pay. They'll have to come to some kind of arrangement.
Well, the other thing is that and of course, she gets an allowance.
Right, that's the thing. They'll have to structure that in such a way so that it doesn't really count.
Well, she says she's going to remain a U.S. citizen for at least 5 years. And
right.
Then maybe she'll have dual citizenship, you know, for whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to have kids.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I don't know. They're not that old, are they? I mean, what's he?
No,
the prince is
like
what, 30?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, they'll have kids. I mean, presumably.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting that they showed the two former girlfriends who were, you know, foxes, and they just came that close to being a princess, you know.
Oh yeah, man, you missed out.
That close.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I just thought that the whole thing was, you know, I don't have a TV, so I had to watch it on my iPad or whatever, and what little bits and pieces of it, pictures mostly. Mm-hmm. And it was fairly interesting. They said that 1 billion people tuned in to watch it.
Wow.
1 billion worldwide. So
that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. That's how would you like to have the advertising for that one?
Jesus.
Get your, you know, put your Jimmy
That's like
Doan,
Super Bowl.
your Jimmy Doan ad on that and see how many people tune in.
Seriously.
So anyway, they're off to, you know, they rode off in a XK Jag or whatever it was, and They don't know where they're going to have their honeymoon, either a safari or a Caribbean private island. So whatever. Now the fun starts, I guess.
Sure.
But I thought it was kind of interesting, that he chose her in a way. I mean,
why so?
Because first of all, I'm not sure. Apparently, she does all right by herself. She's rich.
Well, she's a star of a great TV show that I watch.
Really? Which one?
It's called Suits. I told you about it. It's about some high-priced lawyers in New York.
Okay.
And she's in the show. She's the love interest to the main star.
Okay.
So
she was getting $50,000 a show.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so she's put her Toronto bungalow on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what, $1 million or $1.5 million or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got no problems as far as any. She doesn't have to worry about money, but she certainly really doesn't have to worry about it now.
Yeah, well, but now she's got to give up the gig, the acting gig. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, why not?
You mean why or why?
Yeah, I mean, why would she keep it anyway? She's to
have something to do. She's an independent American woman, got her own stuff going on. Although now they probably have an itinerary.
I'm sure they do.
She wants,
they're going to have
to visit Singapore and whatever and everywhere.
Yeah, they're going to be cutting ribbons all over the world. Snip, snip.
It's tour city.
Yeah, that's it. That's going to be.
I guess that's.
Can you imagine? That's your job.
Yeah.
Your job is to stay in 5-star hotels.
Right.
And eat the finest food on the planet.
Oh yeah. Meet dignitaries.
Yeah.
And cut ribbons.
Yep. That's it. That's your life. First class all the way.
That's right.
We should be so lucky.
Yeah, well, they're the royalty. I mean, they got the
part of the royals. Well, somebody said that the total cost of the wedding was $47 million. Somebody said, including everything, all the ancillary stuff and everything. But they also figured that it brought in $1 billion worth of extra spending into the UK.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah,
$1 billion. Wow.
Yeah, because of all the people that showed up. I mean,
holy crap!
Yeah, that's what they said. Basically, it was a shock. I mean, this is better than the Olympics. You think about this for a second. The Olympics is a money loser across the board. I mean, I don't know. The only one I ever
they got to build stuff for that. You just march them through Buckingham Palace and around the castle and whatever it is, and look at that. Now we're going down the lane. We're going down Abbey Road.
Well, yeah, and of course they got their digs. I mean, they're going to live in one of those castles.
Sussex, probably, right?
I don't know. I don't know. They were saying. I don't know. They're the Duke and Duchess of Sussex,
right?
But
that's where I'd go live.
Where is that anyway?
South of London, just due south. It may be on the shore even. They may even get some nice coastal property.
Yeah. Well, I heard that they were going to live in one of the digs in London.
Yeah,
the big house with servants and everything.
They got.
Too bad. Well, she can't earn more than a certain amount of money, but of course a lot of the stuff, I don't know how the IRS is going to count it, but a lot of the stuff is kind of gratis. I mean, you don't have to pay any rent.
Right. That's why I was saying they could structure it in such a way so that there's not a big chunk of cash just going back to the U.S. every year.
Yeah.
She'll make an appearance or something, tout the U.S. or something. She'll wear an American flag, something like that. Although, I guess her dress code is pretty strict now, I think.
Yeah, I would guess. She apparently had, to the reception.
She's not going to Coachella.
The reception, she showed a lot of skin.
Right.
She changed into her reception dress, which was form-fitting or whatever it is. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think she gets to go to Burning Man anymore or anything.
Yeah, right now. No, rock and roll in the field thing up there in New York or wherever it was.
Woodstock.
Woodstock, yeah. No Woodstock for her.
That's right.
You kind of wonder what kind of security is she going to require? Or he's probably had some. Of course, he's a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
And so apparently he does pretty well.
He's got military training.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, they've got a CIA. They've got a
MI6.
Exactly. Watching them at all times.
I love that one in the thing about the World War II when they were doing the crypto machine to unlocking the thing. They said
Enigma.
They said what MI5. We were talking about MI5, and somebody said I've never even heard of MI6. And they said that's right.
yeah, right. Yeah.
That's why. We don't mean it's secret, but So anyway.
Well, all right. Is that it? Is that all we got today?
That's pretty much it. I don't have any. Just sitting here looking at taxes, shotgun, no Trump, no. Oh, the Hawaii. They said that the Hawaii volcano, even if it goes completely ballistic, is not even compared to Mount St. Helens, for instance.
Right. Well, it's a much tinier volcano.
Really,
right?
yeah. I mean, they said that even if it does, there have been lots of volcano explosions that would make that one be very dwarfy.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's interesting. They did have to airlift some people out of there.
Really?
Yeah, because the lava was coming down pretty quick, I guess, and it was running over the roads, and so you couldn't drive your car.
Yeah. But again, I mean, I've driven all over that area, and all you've got there are a few neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So some people must have been hanging out in Leilani Estates or something, and got cut off, because you could get cut off. There's only really one road that goes around the perimeter. But what would you be doing there still? They must have gone back for some stuff at their homes or something like that.
Right. Yeah, could be.
So I'm not worried about it because of the numbers of people, and like I said, they're used to dealing with it. So
yeah. Okay, well that's about it then. Anyway, so this is this is a short show.
Mm-hmm.
But we had good time. We're gonna have another one here fairly quickly if we get any new stuff, and if I get my computer fixed. It blowed up, so I couldn't do a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I have Apple Care, but it means I still got to take it over there.
Yeah.
So, like us, if you can, on wherever we are. I don't know, are we on Facebook or anything?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think we're on Facebook. This is YouTube.
Okay.
And
did it stream?
I think it did.
Okay.
So, hopefully, we'll get better technically. Sorry if it was a little bit washed out in the beginning, and I'm just noticing now the sound was pretty blown out. That's what happens when you don't have an engineer.
No, that's right.
So, but, all right, well, make a comment if you want, or send us an email, and we will be happy to discuss whatever you'd like. And we should be back next week at 4 o'clock, if not before. If you subscribe, I may post a little advertisement and let you know when we're going to be on.
Okay.
I streamed one earlier today, and it worked. So we'll see how that goes.
Good deal.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.